That's so much fun. All right, we're live. Tessa Virtue, welcome. Happy every day. Air Miles. They're the first one. We're the first one. This
Happy
is so
launch
beautiful.
day.
Happy, sorry?
Happy launch day. Happy
launch day. Happy launch day. Happy every day with Air Miles. My name is Craig McMorris. I will be your host, your guide, your shaman, if you will, on this journey with Tessa Virtue, our superstar of a guest. There is nothing you haven't done. Pardon me, Tessa. You are Canada's sweetheart, and we appreciate you being the first on Happy Every Day with Air Miles.
I'm so happy to be part of this. I think what an incredible initiative, especially right now. We can all use some extra bit of joy in our lives, and this will be something to look forward to for so many Canadians.
Now, that is the thing. This isn't just a one-off. It's just not you and me having a conversation for the next 30 minutes and asking and answering fan questions. This is going to be happening all the time throughout the rest of COVID-19. We're going to have chefs. We're going to have musicians. We're going to have athletes. Who are you kind of looking forward to seeing there live?
Well, Brett Kissel, I'm so excited to hear him perform, to get a sense of what he's been up to, and some of the chefs too. I'll be following along, and I'm honing my skills in the kitchen, so maybe
Save that. I'm going to ask some really, really hard-hitting recipe questions because everybody's doing a lot more cooking. I know I am, and I'm a terrible cook, but we're going to talk about cooking in just a minute. Now, Tessa, I got to be honest with you. You are like me. We're athletes. We partner with brands, and sometimes you don't know that much about the brand. You like the brand. You want to be in partnership with them, but you don't know that much. That's not the case with you and Air Miles. You have been a collector for a number of years, correct?
For a long time. I remember using my grandma's Air Miles card at grocery stores, at gas stations, and she was an avid collector, and I think that was just ingrained in me from a young age. And in fact, I just got the email a couple days ago saying that I would be Onyx status again this year, and I was so excited because all those points are paying off. But I mean, it's just a phenomenal company, and so it seemed like a natural fit right off the bat. And the more we got to know each other, the more I got a sense of what the team was aiming for, what they represented, what they were hoping for on the Canadian platform and stage, the more I was just so honored to be part of it.
That's amazing. Now, I always like asking this question. What have you used your Air Miles for?
Well, I go back and forth between wanting to save them for things, and then sometimes I just like that quick hit at the cash register when they say, do you want to save $30?
Yeah.
And I say yes. And so
I would love to.
But some travel and concerts would be probably the things that I love spending the miles on.
Absolutely. They're sneaky. They're really sneaky because you can use a very small amount of Air Miles and you can get something really big. I remember Mark and me, when we'd go on snowboard trips, we would be really, really little, and our family would be working, like we were well off, but we weren't, rich or anything like that. So going to the mountains and paying for lift tickets and paying for accommodations, all that kind of stuff was really, really expensive. And my mom was very diligent. She saved all the Air Miles all year round. Lift tickets were always covered by Air Miles. So I really thought about that when we were jumping onto this Happy Every Day.
Such a part of your story, such a part of your life with Mark and snowboarding. I love that.
Absolutely. Okay, let's get to some questions now. I have a number of questions, and I want to start lifestyle with you. In this quarantine time, you got a little bit more time on your hands. Are you listening to more music?
Oh, good question. Yes, I think so. It seems to me like what I look forward to the most these days is cooking, having a glass of wine, and trying a new playlist. So that's been kind of fun. I was in this like math bubble for a solid month and a half where I was really just focusing on stats and accounting and finance because I was doing some preparatory stuff for the fall when I start school. Yep. So I was in this like insular little place, but music has been a big part of it. How about for you?
I have been listening to a lot of music. First thing you get up, you kind of do that. I've been listening to really old country, and it's really sad. And for some reason, I don't know, I'm kind of that weird person. You have those friends who like, I'm not bummed out or depressed or anything, but I really like listening to sad music. I don't know. Are you the same way?
I love slow, kind of emotional music for sure.
Yeah. So I've been listening to lots of that. I got to ask you this, Apple, Spotify, where do you get your playlist?
Spotify.
Okay, same here. I was always an Apple guy forever, and then I finally, and I was like, I'm never gonna switch, And then you actually get in the Spotify playlist, and you're like, okay.
It's so much is done for you, which is so nice. And I like following people because I'm not great at curating playlists.
Neither am I. It's hard to do. You mentioned cooking and wine. Let's start with the wine. What are you drinking these days? What's exciting?
There's a rosé called Angels and Cowboys.
No way. Actually, you're drinking Angels and Cowboys?
You like Angels and Cowboys?
It's insane. It's so good. It's crazy. I'm not a rosé guy that much. Like, I'm not really into the wine, but like that rosé is extremely, extremely good. Wow, that's funny.
That is funny.
And then on the cooking side, what recipes are you kind of into?
Simple things. We've been doing a meal delivery service here, so it's kind of fun to try new meals, things, new recipes each week, things like with fresh produce and stuff. Yeah. I would say my staple right now is some roasted Brussels sprouts with a little balsamic.
Nice. And this meal delivery, are they dropping it off and you're putting it all together?
Yes. Yeah. But everything's there for you.
Yeah.
It's a safe way to explore.
Absolutely. A safe way to explore your palate and go there.
And you said you're cooking more.
Oh, no. Gosh, no. I wish I was cooking more. Okay. I am a terrible cook. I'm not going to lie to you. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, everybody watching this live. I'm addicted to eating out. Okay. I said it. And the first step is admitting your problem, right? So I was eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner usually out just because, we're traveling, we're busy, we're doing all sorts of stuff. Right. And I like to have like a big meal, and it's hard to cook that and then clean it up and do all that kind of stuff. So I've been eating out a lot, but now I've been forced to just go heavy pasta.
Just
the Angels and Cowboys and the rosé.
Oh, that's a good combo.
I'm gonna be a big boy after this one. Go ahead. Sorry.
You can support some local restaurants with takeout, and you're helping the state of things now with the community.
Absolutely, and I'm in Whistler, BC right now, so it's like there's a lot of restaurants that like it's expensive to have rent here, and it's really important to get those takeouts, get those groceries from there, because really at the end of the day, it's the exact same price as going to the grocery store right now, and in my opinion, it's a lot safer to do that too. So, have you guys been doing takeout?
A little bit, yes. Yeah, it's nice also to see what local restaurants are open and then try new things and just support the local small businesses. I mean, what a tough time, so many are facing right now.
Exactly. Okay. Actually a few more lifestyle questions, because I'm having fun. I like to pick your brain and see what lane you're in right now. We talk music, we talk wine, we talk cooking. Let's talk TV shows and movies, because I have been binging. What about yourself?
I'm curious to know what you've been watching. Just finished Line of Duty. It's a BBC show about anti-corruption unit. Have you seen it?
No, I've heard about it.
It's really good. It's really captivating.
Okay.
I think I had some nightmares for a few times just because I was so invested in the characters and I was so worried about them. So finished that. Just started Catastrophe.
Never heard of that one.
Rob Delaney.
Okay.
Anyways, it's good. It's a lighter kind of comedy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what has been going on over here. Oh, and of course, The Last Dance.
Oh, incredible. I can't wait. I can't wait for those new episodes too. Because you know what I find with The Last Dance? I'm sorry, we're kind of nerding out on this stuff, and we'll get to other stuff right away. But The Last Dance, you hate a character almost in one episode, and then they have the ability to do a 180, and you're like, that's my favorite person now.
Totally. Yeah, I think it's so interesting to have that episodic wait time week to week, because you crave it, and I just want to learn more. And the way it's done has been just so enlightening, and I just love it. It's fantastic.
Tessa, isn't it weird to like, you have to wait for a show? Because we're so used to with all the stream, like I'm just gonna watch it all right now, like whenever I want. But it's so true. It's like we're gonna step back now. All the shows are gonna be coming out on a day. Yeah, it's gonna be wild. You asked me I was really into Veep. Did you ever watch Veep?
Oh, I heard great things.
I can't recommend that enough. That'll pass some time for you if you want to do that.
Okay. Good to know.
Okay, Tessa, I got to ask you this. I think it's really fascinating. You have taken your career and you have just blown it up. Mac, on Look, all sorts of fashion. Like you're the cover of everything, What drove you into fashion? Were you always that passionate about it? Were you always into the design, the way you looked, all that kind of stuff? Or did something spark later in your life?
Well, first of all, thank you for the compliments. But I think partly it came naturally. My mom is very into fashion, and
shout out Kate.
Shout out to Kate. She's so into fashion. I think she, when I was young, that was such a part of how we connected, and I loved learning about the different facets of fashion and the business. And I think in skating, it was so much of how we presented ourselves with the costumes, hair, and makeup, and it's an aesthetic sport, and kind of marrying that with the technical proficiency required to be, on point athletically. So I always was genuinely passionate about it, and I felt like I was in such a fortunate position to be able to partner with companies who already had a corporate structure in place where I could sort of tap into this realm that was already set up and be creative and, sort of dive in with both feet, knowing that there was support there as far as, production and everything like that.
It's amazing. Okay, I've been greedy. I'm not going to lie. I've got a lot of your attention. Let's jump to some fan questions now. Okay. Phoebe asked this question. Phoebe, I don't know where you're from, but I like your question. Tessa, what are your favorite sports other than skating?
Golf and tennis, I would say.
Golf and tennis. Why?
Golf and tennis. Well, I love to play golf. I think it's always been a passion of mine, and I just haven't been able to play too much. But tennis is on my mind. I want to learn. I took lessons when I was maybe 6, and otherwise haven't really picked up a racket until a little bit recently. But I would like to sort of dive into that. And I don't know what that says about me as an individual sport athlete. Maybe I should be diving into something with a bigger team. But those would be top of my list.
I've had the pleasure of knowing you for a while, and I think that you are the ultimate single sport athlete, though, because you put in the work so hard, like it's actually crazy. I think you excel obviously in a team setting, but I think single sport is where is where you would shine. And I think the reason I'm going to say that is because you did gymnastics when you were younger, correct?
Right.
Competitive, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I did the exact same thing, and I'm going to go off on a tangent here. It hones your mind and is probably one of the best things you can do as a child for any other sport. Would you agree? Would you disagree? Give me your thoughts.
I agree. I think it's a great place to learn about your body and space and have some awareness of how you physically move. I think it starts building muscle mass pretty early and flexibility. I think so much of what I was able to do in skating is thanks to my gymnastics background. But I mean, you're the same, Craig, no matter what project you take on. And I've seen you at work, at the Olympics, wherever it may be, you're so invested in the research and the execution of the product. And it's inspiring. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Diane from Sudbury. I was actually in Sudbury a lot this winter, which is kind of weird. Do you like to garden, and have you thought of doing a vegetable garden during quarantine, Tessa? This is a great question. We're kind of jumping back to food. We'll get back on athletics in a minute, but I like this question.
All over the map, I think.
Okay.
That is a good question. I have such fond memories of gardening with my grandma, Noni, and we were so close when I was young. She spent a lot of time with me when I was young. Both my parents worked full time, and we used to grow cucumbers together, and so I still think about that. I don't. I mean, I haven't really been in one place to kind of plant physical roots.
Physical, literal, all of it.
But I will say that I love having flowers around, so that's something that I'll try and do, have fresh flowers in the house as well.
Oh, wonderful. I was actually thinking about that too, because we have a nice little deck here in Whistler, and I was like, maybe I could put it in, but I bet you by the time I actually did it, put it all in, I'd be on the road again, and they'd be left for naught. So I think we're going to stay away from the gardening for now, okay? Just for now. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just watching us, if you're just joining, Tessa Virtue, this is Happy Every Day with Air Miles, and we are just the first of many, many lives to come. We were talking off the top. Tessa, you're excited to watch Brett Kissel come on. I'm excited to watch Buffy St. Marie is going to have a live with Happy Every Day, so that is going to be very, very interesting. If you guys are watching, please think of questions for that, but also think of questions for right now, because that's the whole point we're doing this. We're answering fan questions. Tessa, what has been your favorite question thus far?
Well, that gardening one just got me thinking.
Are you going to do it?
Anne probably has some good tips for us. Small. Aren't potatoes easy to plant and grow? Or maybe
grow anywhere, I heard.
Herbs? I don't know. Diane, follow it up here with something.
Yeah, let us know. This is a good one. Tessa, you mentioned on working math, this is what I was going to ask, on stats, getting ready for school. Can we get an exclusive? What are you taking? Where are you going? Let's hear some details.
Details.
We're details oriented.
I'll be doing my executive MBA through Smith School of Business at Queen's. So because I was a psych major and it took me such a long time to do my undergrad, I wanted to refresh on math and even things like Excel. Yeah, it was a really great project. And I think, I mean, I've never been secure about or confident about my math abilities. And so I always counted that as a weakness. And what I learned was that I just I loved the stimulation of the challenge every day, and it was kind of like a training day, because I would start thinking, I can't do this. I don't know how to do this. I'm so out of my element, and I would fight through it. And by the end, I would be so proud of myself for figuring it out. And it reminded me of that roller coaster of, as you would know, training, and just the doubt followed by the work and then fulfillment.
Oh, that feeling, isn't that addicting?
It
Isn't
is.
that one of the most addicting feelings you can have, when you almost tell yourself in the back of your head? It's happened to me so many times in snowboarding where you're like, I don't know if I can do that. Like, I really don't think I can. And then when you flip that switch, it's got to be, it's addicting for me. Is it for you?
It is, yeah. And it's funny to hear you say that, because I watch the videos of, the wild, crazy, daredevil-ish, it seems to me, things you do. And I wonder where that fear comes into play for you, because you have to commit, and you can't hold back, I would think, especially in snowboarding. But it's kind of refreshing to hear that you get scared.
Oh, that's the thing. You have to get scared. If you're not like a little bit scared, you probably won't last very long in snowboarding, because you're going to get hurt, and that happens. And I've gotten hurt and stuff like that, but there's always like a little bit of fear. That kind of leads me to my next question. I don't know if it's taboo to say, but do you remember any bad falls? Because you've had such a long career, you've spent so much time, and I know nobody asked, and you don't want to talk about it, especially like, you don't talk about that in figure skating, but like,
Right.
there had to have been some falls, and how do you get back up, and how do you try again, and do you put it in? Like, I mean, that's interesting to me.
Yeah, it's something we practice. We did practice failing. We would fall and get back up and get back into the program in case that ever happened at competition. The one fall that is just sticking out of my head at the moment, the lift we do where I stand on Scott's leg and I balance.
Yeah.
Well, for the first time I tried jumping off him, I used to jump and do a rotation and land. And he had pockets in his pants, and the heel of my blade caught on the pocket as I jumped off. So I sprung, and it's on video somewhere, we have to get this, but I sprung off and then sort of I like did a slingshot move back to him, and then we both fell. But we just laughed. I mean, I wasn't that hurt. It just was kind of funny. And then from then on, he's had his pockets sewn shut.
Okay. Isn't that when you don't see it coming, those are always the worst ones too, because you're probably like, I got it, easy, and then it just grabbed you. Hey,
no, I don't.
No, I don't have it. I don't have it.
Not at all.
There was a good question here, and I think I've lost her name, but it was, what was your favorite outfit that you ever wore in competition? And I think that's interesting too, because you've worn so many, and maybe that's an impossible answer, but hey, why not ask it?
I have such an affinity for the Moulin Rouge costumes that Matthew Caron designed and made. But some of the ones from the junior days, I remember going through all the fashion magazines, Ola magazine, and my mom and I would take them to the dressmaker, and then we would have, 14 fittings, and it would evolve and change. And over time, over the course of the season, it would take a different shape, and those also carry great meaning.
That's beautiful. I would have to say the Moulin Rouge as well. That one is just like, that one punches. What one punches back.
The costume from Montreal?
The what?
Tango costume.
Oh, the tango costume.
We dance together.
Okay, now you're just putting me all sorts of everywhere. Okay, maybe it's a tie. We can have two winners. This is a really good question. I'm kind of losing them, but I'm reading them as you're answering. This is from Kristen Leframbois. What do you do to stay happy every day? And the reason this caught my eye, because whenever we're texting, you always text me this: what's making you happy these days? What is making Tessa Virtue happy these days?
I need a new line, maybe. But I really am curious about that in people. Like,
it's true.
What is it that is making you smile, or what's bringing you happiness? I think things like this. Honestly, I know that it's virtually, and we're all missing our family and friends, or, we're missing those get-togethers where we can have social gatherings. But it's been amazing through technology what we can do, and how we can feel like we are touching base with those we care about, and having meaningful conversations, and still spreading kindness amidst such chaos. I think that's been a real source of joy lately.
I would have to agree with that. I always like, you call your parents, or like you talk to people and friends and stuff like that, but a Zoom call with everybody in there, it just feels different now,
It definitely does. Yeah. And
crazy.
My mom and my sister and I have a video chat every day, and I look forward to it.
That's great.
And it's not like there's too much to report on, there's not much going on for anyone, but still it's just that gesture of, connecting.
Okay, let's go on the exact opposite. What's making you happy? This is one of my favorite questions because I was thinking about today. What's some of your biggest pet peeves?
Oh, I mean,
and I'll answer if you want some time to think about it, because I have some too, but I want you to go.
Okay, I mean, I have them at the ready, but I do want
to. Okay, let's go. Fire.
So much of it is around travel.
Same.
And when people don't, when you're getting off a plane and people don't go in order, I just think that's an unwritten etiquette rule that we all just wait our turn, unless you're missing a flight and then you say, okay, I'm going to run, and you let someone go.
Yeah.
Crowding the gate beforehand, the people in security that are pushing up on you, all of those things drive me nuts.
I couldn't agree more. And you know what? One for me is in the airport when somebody is on speakerphone and they're like standing like 4 away from you, and they're like, oh my, why are you doing this? Just right there. That's all you have to do. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, happy hour every day. This is the inaugural running, the very first one on Facebook. At Air Miles Canada is going to be doing all sorts of lives. Tessa, thank you very much for joining us on the very, very first one. I've been having a blast. What about yourself?
This is so nice. Time is just flying by.
I know. And ladies and gentlemen, the whole point we're here, ask some questions. We got Tessa Virtue. She will answer. That's why we're here. All right. I'm going to ask one here.
Experiences there, I think, at that point in our career and just exploring it as a city. There's such a vibrant, inspiring, artistic vibe to the city. I love St. John's so much. I have such a soft spot in my heart for East Coast. I mean, it's so hard to pick. Vancouver right now, because that's where I am. How about you?
That's perfect. That's really, really hard to pick. You know what? I had Halifax. I had one of the best trips ever in Halifax. That was such a fun city. I wish I could spend some more time there. I loved it.
Maritimers, just so good to me.
They're the best. Here's a good question from Lou Hernandez. Tessa, are you going to get a dog soon?
I think so.
Yes?
I do. Honestly,
Are we breaking some news right here on Happy Every Day with Air Miles? Let's break some news. Give us Give us what you want. Give us what you're thinking. Let's do names. Can we do some names, ladies and gentlemen, in the suggestions? Some name suggestions? I don't know.
Yes. No, I want one so badly, and I want it to be the right time, because obviously it would be too selfish if I was still traveling at the rate that I was before. Mm-hmm. But I think with school and some work in Toronto, that I'll be in one place a little bit more. I don't know. I really want one so badly, though.
Absolutely. What do you think you want?
I was on a Ridgeback kick for a while because I grew up with a Rhodesian Ridgeback.
Okay.
And just lately, and actually someone did recommend this on Twitter, it was fortuitous and interesting timing, a Nova Scotia duck tolling retriever.
Wow. Also good pronunciation on that, because that is a tough one to do quickly.
Thank you. So, yeah, any recommendations, any names, anything?
I have a question. Sorry. I have one more question here. I keep interrupting you. I just want to get everybody their questions, because there's so many good ones here. I don't want to miss any. Book suggestions. Wilma. Thank you, Wilma. Have you been reading much?
Well, I had a bit of a hiatus as I was focusing on math, but I'm just a few pages left on The Giver of Stars. And I've just been, it's all I've done the last couple of days. I've just had my nose in the book. It's so good. And I don't know if anyone on here has read it also, but next I think is Cat's Cradle, a Kurt Vonnegut.
Oh, I like that. Liam Ernest, any advice on how to stop doubting yourself when trying something new? Now, we kind of talked about it, the falling, the getting up. We talked about the worst fall, but would you have any advice for people who have fallen and want to get up in life, or literally?
Yeah, I think, it's such a natural feeling. We all doubt ourselves, right? And it's so sad, because I don't think we would ever speak to other people the way that we sometimes speak to ourselves. And there's such high expectations and standards for us to live up to. And sometimes just embracing the fact that it's not going to be perfect, it's not going to be smooth sailing, but at the end of any project, you look back and it's that the obstacles and that roller coaster that really make it special. And so it's maybe having that long-term vision for what it is you're trying to accomplish, and just know that if it's worthwhile, you sort of just have to put your head down and lose sight of the noise, forget about everyone else and what they might have to say, and just stay committed to your personal why.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. And you know what's funny is I think that people look at, like, they start doubting themselves as a negative thing. If you don't doubt yourself a little bit, it's probably not that hard. You probably should be doing something harder. If you don't fall ever, you should be doing something harder. That's the whole point. You want to achieve the best. If you don't fall, you don't doubt yourself, you got to start doing something harder. Like with math. Okay, I doubt myself a lot with math. I was terrible at math, still am. But I think that is so admirable from one person who struggled with math to somebody who is no longer struggling with math. That is tough. There's some doubt there for sure.
Yeah, there's definite doubt, but I think you're absolutely right. If something matters to you, I think it just becomes part of the story in your journey to accomplishing that or pursuing it.
This is super random, and I don't know if you've ever watched. What's your most favorite figure skating movie, or a movie that has had figure skating in it?
I haven't really watched many, to be honest. I'm not drawn to figure skating movies. Probably the original, though, The Cutting Edge. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, I never seen it, but I heard it.
Yeah.
I never seen it. Okay. Come on, Craig. I ain't seen that. No, I've never seen it. But yeah, we'll see. There was another really good one in here because we're kind of running out of time, only 4 minutes left. We really appreciate all the comments and questions. Very, very good. What's kind of on the horizon for Tessa? You talked about schooling, which is, thank you very much for sharing, and that's amazing. Is there any other projects or anything on the back burner right now?
There are a few design collaborations and things like that, which I'm really excited about, and some work at an office in Toronto, and a program kind of based around resilience and a lot of the stuff we were talking about off the bat. But it'll be interesting to see what kind of shape that takes as we move forward, just in the world and in the next few months. And there's so many unknowns.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I'm in the exact same way. It's like you're trying to plan, you're trying to do all this kind of stuff, and then it's like, I don't know if we plan it here, then we're gonna have to push it back. We're gonna have to kind of do this kind of stuff. But I feel like the schooling, that's probably one of the safest bets you can do.
Definitely, and they're so used to remote learning and online classes that I'm eager to dive in. I know that will be a good challenge for me.
Here's a good one from Kristen Friedland. Would you ever want to write a children's book about accomplishing goals?
Yes.
Yes, it's just a yes.
You're on the ball, Kristen.
That's a great one. I think that's a great idea.
Where would story to tell? I just have to keep trying with that. Just draft after draft and make sure that it's the right way to say it.
There's a great one too. Do you have any advice for someone starting school as well, Renee?
I think.
Sorry. Yeah, that's Renee. Pardon me. Go ahead, Tessa.
Yeah. Congratulations on starting school. I think I don't know if I have advice, but it's just sort of dive in. I mean, it's neat to be at a point in your life when you just want to learn. You're no longer going through the motions to pass an exam, but rather to better yourself and to just add to your repertoire of knowledge. And I think that's a really fun place to be. Get some cute new notebooks, and are
you obsessed with school shopping? I remember I always heard I was never into it, but some people were.
Oh, it sets the tone for me. Yeah.
It's all about setting the tone. Tessa, we only have 1 minute and 30 seconds left here in this live. We really appreciate you doing this, and we have to say thank you to Air Miles. Happy every day. I've been having an absolute blast. Is there anything that you want to shout out, get off your chest, talk about, ask the fans?
Well, thanks so much for staying engaged and for following along, for joining in. I mean, I know this is just the beginning for Air Miles. I can't wait to see where this goes. Happy every day. But I think if nothing else, let's just take from this a sense of like, how can we make someone else happy in the day, and what kind of small act of kindness can we do? Just a moment in time, whether that's for a neighbor or a loved one or a perfect stranger. I think now especially is a time where we all just need that in our lives, some positivity.
Absolutely. Sarah Murph just asked, do you have any encouraging words for young skaters? I think you just said it so eloquently there.
Oh,
think of other people,
Yeah, I think this time especially, doesn't it make you realize what really matters in life? And I think that sense of gratitude will carry us forward. And for young skaters, I would think stay balanced, not just on the ice, but in your passions. Whether that's with other sports and activities, or the arts, or theater, school. I think it's important to be kind of well-rounded and just follow your passion. It's simple as that.
That's the best way I think we could possibly end this. Tessa, thank you so very much for lending your time and giving some beautiful, beautiful answers. Thanks to Air Miles, happy every day. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just the first of many, so keep your eyes peeled for more. Thanks, Tessa.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Craig.
Bye, guys.
Bye.